Let's be brutally honest for a second. You clicked on this video hoping for a magic list. A simple, clean set of stock tickers that you could write down, plug into your brokerage account, and watch as they skyrocket throughout 2025, making you wealthy with zero effort. I get it. The promise of a guaranteed winner is incredibly seductive. But here is the hard truth that every successful investor learns eventually. Anyone who gives you a definitive list of the best stocks for a future year is either lying to you, lying to themselves, or trying to sell you something. The future is fundamentally unpredictable. Unexpected geopolitical events, sudden shifts in Federal Reserve policy, or a black swan event nobody saw coming can completely upend the best laid plans. So, if I can't give you a guaranteed list, what can I give you? I can give you something infinitely more valuable, a realistic, step-by-step framework for how you can identify high-potential stocks for 2025 and beyond. This is about teaching you the process of finding your own best stocks, based on your own research and risk tolerance. We're going to break this down into 3 actionable parts. First, we'll look at the macro landscape, the powerful, long-term megatrends that are likely to define the next decade, regardless of short-term market noise. Second, we'll translate those trends into specific sectors and industries that are poised for growth. And third, and most critically, I'll give you the exact checklist to use for evaluating any individual company within those sectors, so you can separate the real opportunities from the overhyped story stocks. This is how you move from being a passive follower of tips to an active, confident investor. Let's start with the big picture, the powerful, unstoppable currents that will shape our economy and the stock market for years to come. Investing in these megatrends is about placing bets on the future direction of human civilization itself. The first and most obvious megatrend is the artificial intelligence and automation revolution. But we need to think beyond just the companies using AI. We need to think about the companies enabling it. This is the picks and shovels approach from the gold rush. You might not know which company will strike gold with the best AI application, but you can be fairly confident that they'll all need immense computing power. This leads us to the semiconductor industry, specifically the manufacturers of advanced chips and the equipment used to make them. Companies in this space are the fundamental bedrock of the entire AI ecosystem. The second major megatrend is the great energy transition. The global shift towards renewable sources like solar, wind, and green hydrogen is not a political fad, it's a multi-trillion-dollar industrial transformation. This isn't just about panel and turbine manufacturers. It's about the entire supply chain, from the companies mining the critical minerals like lithium and copper, to the firms building the complex electrical grid infrastructure and energy storage solutions needed to make it all work. The third megatrend is the demographic shift, particularly aging populations in developed countries. This creates a powerful, long-term tailwind for the healthcare sector. Think about companies involved in biotechnology developing new treatments for age-related diseases, medical device makers creating advanced joint replacements and surgical robots, and healthcare services providers catering to an older demographic. These trends, AI, energy, and healthcare, are not dependent on what the market does next month. They are structural changes that will create winners for the next decade. Your job is to find the well-run companies positioned to capitalize on them. Now that we have our megatrends, how do we find the actual companies? This is where we go from a 1,000-foot view down to the runway. Let's take the AI megatrend as our example. The first place to look is the semiconductor sector. But instead of just buying the biggest name, a savvy investor looks at the entire ecosystem. There are the chip designers, the companies that actually fabricate the chips, and the vital companies that produce the ultra-advanced lithography machines and software without which none of these chips could be made. This is a perfect example of finding a company with a deep, wide moat. If only 1 or 2 companies in the world can produce the machinery required for the next generation of semiconductors, that is an incredible competitive advantage. Similarly, in the energy transition, look for companies that are leaders in their niche. It might be a firm that has patented a new, more efficient battery chemistry, or a utility company that is aggressively and successfully transitioning its power generation to renewables while paying a stable dividend. In healthcare, look for biotech firms with a robust pipeline of drugs in late-stage clinical trials, or medical device companies with a track record of innovation and surgeon loyalty. Pro tip: a common mistake is to invest in a story instead of a business. A company might have a presentation full of buzzwords like AI-powered, blockchain-based, metaverse-ready healthcare in the cloud, but if it has no revenue, mounting losses, and no clear path to profitability, it's a speculative gamble, not an investment. Your goal is to find businesses that are not just in a growing industry, but are the engine of that industry, with real products, real customers, and real financial health. This brings us to the most critical part of the entire process, the company-specific due diligence. This is your checklist, your litmus test for any stock you are considering for your 2025 portfolio. This is where you separate the wheat from the chaff. First and foremost, you must assess the company's financial health. Pull up its latest annual report, the 1OK, on the SEC/CDGR database. You need to look for 3 key things. 1. A strong balance sheet. Look at the debt-to-equity ratio. A company overloaded with debt is vulnerable to rising interest rates and economic downturns. You want a company with a manageable level of debt or, even better, a net cash position. 2. Consistent revenue and earnings growth. Are sales growing year over year? Is net income, or even better, free cash flow, also growing? You want to see a business that is not only getting bigger but also more profitable. 3. A wide and durable competitive moat. What stops a competitor from stealing their customers? Is it a powerful brand? Patented technology? Massive scale that creates low costs? A strong moat allows a company to maintain its profits for years. Next, you absolutely must look at valuation. A wonderful company can be a terrible investment if you pay too much for it. Use metrics like the price-to-earnings ratio, but compare it to the company's own historical average and to its direct competitors. Is it trading at a premium, or is it reasonably priced? Finally, and this is an insider secret, you must assess the quality of management. Read the CEO's letter to shareholders in the annual report. Does it sound thoughtful, honest, and focused on the long term, or is it full of fluffy jargon and excuses? Look up insider trading activity. Are executives buying shares with their own money? That's a strong vote of confidence. Are they only selling? That's a major red flag. By applying this rigorous checklist: financial health, competitive moat, reasonable valuation, and aligned management to companies within our high-potential megatrends, you dramatically increase your odds of finding stocks that can perform well in 2025 and for many years after. Before we finish, I have a crucial responsibility to provide a clear and unambiguous disclaimer. I am not a licensed financial advisor, and this video is solely for educational and informational purposes. I have not provided any specific stock recommendations, and this should not be construed as financial advice or a recommendation to buy or sell any security. All investments involve risk, including the total loss of principal. The stock market is volatile and unpredictable, and past performance of any trend or sector is never a guarantee of future results. You must conduct your own thorough due diligence and consider consulting with a qualified financial professional before making any investment decisions. Your call to action is this: pick one of the megatrends we discussed, AI, energy, or healthcare, and choose one single company within that trend that you've heard of. Then, go and do the homework. Open its investor relations website, find its latest 1OK, and try to run it through the checklist we just outlined. Look for its debt level, its revenue growth, and its CEO's letter. This single act of hands-on research is more valuable than watching 100 videos promising you a secret list. If this framework empowered you to start your own research for 2025, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content that makes you a smarter, more self-reliant investor. Thank you for watching.